we got the radar to start, and boy, if we make it through this newscast, we may be back for another one tomorrow. Here's a look at what's going on. Tracking a lot of moisture in across central sections of the state right now, and you can already see the cold air is pooling out to the east, starting to change things over south of Edgewood and out across northeastern New Mexico. We're still with the warm air here in Albuquerque, so only showers. That continues up in Santa Fe, but if you get up into the northern mountains, everything's changing over. Las Vegas up into the northeast, a lot of cold air in place. We're seeing icing across portions of eastern New Mexico and up across the northeast as well. Places like Raton Pass reporting some pretty rough conditions, and out across southwestern sections of the state and west central sections. A lot of that moisture tap continues, and there's a ton of moisture over Arizona right now. Here's a look at the warnings, and they're all over the place right now. Winter storm warnings, northern mountains, northeast, up into southern Colorado through Monday morning. Feet of snow possible for the mountains. We'll get into that coming up. Winter weather advisories across the southeast and into central sections of the state, to include the Albuquerque metro area, and winter storm watches as well. Now, these winter weather advisories are just for tonight and tomorrow. Whole different set of warnings coming up for the weekend. 47 degrees in the metro right now. East-southeast winds 12 miles an hour, and you can see where that cold air is. Raton, Las Vegas, Tucumcari, Clovis, all the real cold stuff. It's going to continue to flow south and continue to push west overnight tonight. In the metro, we're still fairly mild at 47 degrees. Here's the big guy helping to cause all this. Big low pressure system churning over Southern California and really putting up a nice moisture tap into the state right now. So here are the three things that really are going to help us. And what we're dealing with here is a very low bust potential, 20% on this storm, because we have these three things that are really going to make this storm a good one. Number one, we've got the moisture tap in place. Low pressure sitting out to the west, but a ton of juice heading into the state right now. Number two, below this moisture, we've got super cold air sliding in underneath it. So that's in place, and it's going to hold in place. And then finally, we need a trigger to give a real good snowstorm over the weekend, and we're going to get that as the low comes from California and rolls dead through New Mexico. So we've got the moisture, we've got the cold air, and we've got the low. I mean, that is the trifecta for a storm in New Mexico to bring widespread snow. So what do we do tonight? What happens tonight? Across the eastern side of the state, especially northeast, east central sections, freezing rain and icy roads will be a possibility. Very cold across the southeast with a chance at freezing rain for tomorrow. Meanwhile, up in the northern mountains, if you're especially above 9,000 feet, 8 to 14 inches of snow will be possible by tomorrow afternoon and evening. Same deal up in the San Juans. Lesser amounts the lower down you go. If you're around, say, 7,500 feet, we're still looking at mixes enough to keep your snowfall amounts down to 3 or 4 inches or so, but we could see more than that later on. Now, here in the metro, tonight, the winds crank up, come roaring through the canyon. So all that rain we're getting is going to start to be scoured out by what we call our snow hole or our precip hole. So when we get those wind gusts, 40 to 50 miles an hour, it's going to push some of the moisture out onto the west side and just to our north and south. So in the metro area, if we get these winds, I don't think we're going to see as much precip and freezing as far as the ice goes. But if the winds don't materialize, we could well end up with icing conditions in the metro tomorrow morning for the kids going to school. So that is worth some consideration. And across the west tomorrow, we're looking at a mix across the board. Now, if we were not talking about freezing rain, I would not be as concerned tomorrow morning. But here's the deal. With the super cold air in the metro area right along the surface and the moisture just above it, you push that moisture down in the form of rain, it hits the ground and freezes. It only takes a couple of hours of this at the most to create very slick and very dangerous conditions. So that's why it's going to be close tomorrow morning. There's no other way to cut it. The winds could cut down on this and we could be okay. But if we don't see enough wind, roads could equal big-time ice rinks, especially here in areas out to the east as well. 30s and 40s across southern Colorado, mostly cloudy. Winter mix on the way and then going over to snow tomorrow. Meanwhile, across the northwest, nice mix over the next couple of days, going over to snow as well Saturday night into Sunday. Southwest, a lot of rain over the next 24 hours and then mixes over to snow, especially in the Gila. Over to the southeast, it is going to be cold tomorrow. 31 for a high. 30 for a low in Roswell, looking at, of course, the winter mix and very gusty winds as well. Same deal up to the northeast. That mix where we could well be looking at icy roads at times for you guys or snow mixes in as well. Northern Mountains hit the resorts. I think we've got a shot at a foot of snow tomorrow, another foot of snow over the weekend. Down into the East Mountains, temperatures in the 30s, 2 to 4 inches of snow will be possible at the higher elevations. Icing will be possible at the lower elevations. Finally, here in the metro, temperatures in the 30s, winter mix. And again, watch those winds. Winds come down, roads will be trickier. Extended forecast here. We are looking at our best chance for snow in the Albuquerque metro area. Hear me clearly now, Saturday night and Sunday. That's the bullseye time, and there's a winter storm watch for that very scenario this weekend.